is what I do. This is what I do to provide, and so I want her to be a part of it too.
It's gonna be a lot of fun to be here and spend time with Joshua and just help him out however I can.
What do you think about like driving the convertible tonight? I think that would be fun.
Yeah.
And it's got a back seat even in it too, so we can tag along with our chaperones.
Perfect.
That would be a blast. We can do that. That'll be fun. This is what I do. This is what we'll do.
Yeah.
Hey friends, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It's Thursday, June 29th, 2023. I am late to getting this video out for you today because I spent almost all afternoon on the phone with relatives of Chris Turner, who is Dion DeRico's late brother who passed away in 2020. It's not pretty, and the allegations I was provided were horrific. If you think the Duggars are bad, I would classify, based on the allegations I was told today, that Dion is just as bad. So let's talk about what's going on with the Duggars. So apparently the Sun is reporting that Anna Duggar has been kicked out of Jim Bob's warehouse. And while this sounds enticing, Anna hasn't been living in this warehouse, so I don't know what they're talking about here, but they claim to have an exclusive where Anna has been kicked out of Jim Bob and Michelle's Arkansas warehouse home after a blowout argument with her father-in-law. I've been reporting for a very long time that things with Anna and the family have been really tense, like really tense. And a lot of it comes down to Anna butting heads with the adult kids that don't believe that Josh is innocent, and Anna butting heads with Jim Bob and Michelle about their rules, about the way that they've taken control of her life. She doesn't want to have someone so controlling over her life. She doesn't want to live under their authority. She wants to live closer to Josh. They have different theological beliefs at this point, lots of tension, and then just a lot of tension between her and the oldest kids, because she still believes Josh is innocent and they don't, and it's created a very toxic environment in their home. And so I'm not super surprised by this, but I did speak to someone that's friends with Jim Bob that found this to be very unrealistic, though it could be possible. The reason why is they said they had a hard time believing that Jim Bob didn't just kick her out and without a place to go, that he would provide her housing or find her a new place to live. So I don't know, but this is what so let's dive into today's topic of Anna Duggar has been kicked out. So before we dive into today's topic, can you please do me a big favor and give this video a thumbs up? Also, please subscribe to my channel if you have not yet subscribed by clicking on the subscribe button down below. Make sure to ring the bell by clicking the bell if you'd like to get notified of any time I go live or new content loads. If you have something to say, make sure to say it. You can by leaving a comment, and you can share this video with your friends if you want to talk Duggar talk. So here's the deal. Anna Duggar has been living with the Duggars since Josh's conviction, actually even before. They moved into the Duggar property in 2019, not long after the Duggar car lot, Josh Duggar's car lot, was searched by the feds. And they moved into the warehouse. Now, here's the thing. This article claims that Anna is living in this warehouse, but I don't believe she is, because I'm pretty confident that James lives in that warehouse now. And it's Anna that lives in the big house, because the warehouse is not zoned for residential living. And there was an open CPS case related to Mariella, and I'm pretty sure that it mandated that they move into an owner-occupied home, but I could be wrong. So this is what it says. Anna has been kicked out of by her in-laws, Jim Bob and Michelle, after a blowout argument with her father-in-law. I've told you in the past that Anna is very feisty and has a temper, and that she has been known to get into like really heated arguments with people, including right before a trial. She and Austin got into a blowout argument where they were screaming in each other's faces. And then Michelle got in the middle of it, and she and Michelle started screaming at each other. So I can 100% believe a blowout argument happened completely. It says, the Sun can exclusively reveal that Anna and the children no longer live on the property after an argument with the patriarch. The source told the Sun, Jim Bob made Anna move out of the warehouse on his property a month and a half ago. They got into an argument, and she's been in Texas visiting Josh. New photos obtained by the Sun show the warehouse with multiple cars parked in the front and in the back. This is the warehouse where Josh and Anna were living in prior to Josh getting arrested. And if you watch the Duggars on television at all, or if you watch James Duggar's videos, you could see that James was actually in this warehouse, as far as I could tell. So I don't know if she was really still living in there. She could have been. I thought she had moved into the big house. That's just what I had heard. It says that Anna and their 7 kids were living in the rundown warehouse when Josh was sentenced in 2021. That's true. The night of sentencing, the lights were on at the warehouse. The SUV parked right outside was the car Anna left court in. That's true, too. That was the night that David Waller and Priscilla were there, and they were all sort of like praying because it was probably going to be like the last night, you know. And that's also, so that was where she was when he was convicted and when he was sentenced. And they have the date wrong. He was sentenced in May of 2022. But in December of 2021, there was lights on at that warehouse, and she was still living there. And in May of 2022, she was still living in the warehouse. So apparently the tensions have been rising between Anna and Jim Bob. They are going back to the way things were in the courtroom. If you remember, after sentencing, Anna stormed out. After he was convicted, if you remember, Anna stormed out, and she like wouldn't even look at Jim. And then after sentencing, she didn't even sit by Jim. She wouldn't even talk to Jim. And she stormed out and left in a car without Jim. And then Jim tried to like rush after her. So there has been problems with Anna and the family because Anna, 1, doesn't want to live with the family. 2, believes the family is part of the reason why Josh is the way that he is. And 3, doesn't agree with how strict they are about certain things. So some of the fights that Anna has had with Michelle allegedly have to do with, and Jim Bob, are about rules about how she chooses to dress her own children. And she lets her daughters wear pants. And Josh was okay with that. Michelle and Jim Bob were not okay with Anna's daughters wearing pants. But Anna was. And so apparently there would be arguments between Anna and Michelle and Jim Bob about the girls wearing pants. Anna started wearing pants too, and that was also a point of contention. They don't believe that women should wear pants. Anna is still a part of the IBLP, but she had been moving more towards the Reformed theology, where they're still legalistic, but they shed some of the rules of the IBLP that require women to wear dresses all the time, and they have all of those outward rules and appearances of like how they're supposed to act, and you know, all the traps of the IBLP. So they had been moving away from that for several years, and so while she still adheres to a lot of the fundamental beliefs about marriage and her role in marriage, that's still the same. The way she like presented to the outside world was different though, because she started wearing pants and their girls started wearing pants. So back in 2021, Jim Bob and Anna have been at war. This is what someone said to them back in 2021. Anna is in denial. They mean May 2022 because this wouldn't have happened in 2021 because Jim Bob was still defending Josh before he went to trial. Jim Bob was not telling friends that he was guilty privately. Jim Bob does believe Josh is guilty privately. He tells that to his friends. And according to them, they said Anna is in denial. Jim Bob is telling people she's defending Josh and no longer speaking to most of the family. Jim Bob said she blames him and his wife Michelle for Josh's arrest. Anna feels it all stems from how they dealt with his previous scandal after he essayed his sisters. Okay, so according to them, after Josh was arrested, Anna and Jim Bob were fighting because Jim Bob was saying that Anna was defending Josh and no longer speaking to most of the family, and that Anna was blaming him and Michelle for Josh's arrest and for how she felt that they were dealing with the previous issues related to what happened with his sisters, what he did to his sisters, and how they handled that situation. I believe this to a point, but Anna actually doesn't believe that Josh did this. As far as I know, Anna still believes that he's innocent, but she does not agree with how Jim Bob and Michelle handled Josh's issues when he was younger, and does think that that has contributed to some of his ongoing behaviors that he has had and that she has had to deal with in their marriage. So that part I believe. And by the time they went to trial, yes, things were better, but leading up to trial, there was still a lot of tension in this house. Now, they're claiming that Anna's down in Texas. Josh still doesn't get visitors. So she can't really be visiting Josh in Texas unless he's got his ban for visitors have been lifted. But I actually spoke to someone this week whose loved one is actually released from prison last week. And up until a week ago, they had said that Josh was keeping a very low profile, that the entire prison had been completely shut down, and they got almost all the phones out. They had a huge, massive phone problem after Josh's getting caught with the phones and that whole thing leaking all of that to the media. Most of the phones have disappeared apparently from Seagaville, according to the loved one, and that Josh has been not really going to chow. He doesn't really go out to the yard. He wasn't going out to the yard to work out. He was really just like in his room constantly by himself reading. And he wasn't having visitors because he was getting limited commissary, and he couldn't have phone calls. Now, they told me that he had been sentenced to 6 months, but the guard had only given him 4 months. And if that's the case, he would be getting visitors either this coming up in July or in August. So I don't know how she would be visiting Josh. It's probable, though, that she could be down in Texas visiting her sister, David and Priscilla. Right now is the Vacation Bible School, and David and Priscilla have an extra home. She could also stay at properties down at the IBLP if she wanted to. There's places for her to stay overnight. They have multiple homes that she could live in. What I don't believe, though, is I don't believe that Jim would kick her out and not have a place for her to go. Either Priscilla and David are helping her out. They do have a rental house, I believe, that they don't live in, that she could probably live in. And I know David and Priscilla wanted her to move down there. So she could theoretically stay down in Texas with Priscilla and David, if this is true. Again, I don't know. Anna was actually seen in photographs at the Duggar house in middle May. So if she was kicked out a month and a half ago, but at their house a month and a half ago, it would have had to happen at the exact same time. Take it for a grain of salt, because they still think that Anna was living in the warehouse, and I'm pretty sure that she wasn't. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if it does come to this, frankly, because Anna, as I've told you multiple times, has made the lives of the Duggars hell and isn't getting along with anyone and is combative and argumentative and obviously defending Josh, which doesn't go along well with a lot of the older kids. It's created a lot of toxicity in the family. But what I think is wild is like that he would kick her out and then she has no umbrella. Like, where is she going to go? Like, who's going to be her authority? That's the part I can't figure out. So we'll have to wait and see. They have very scant details on this. There could be a layer of truth to this, guys. If Anna has been kicked out, she'll be down in Texas. She'll probably stay down in Texas. She'll probably find a place to live. But I don't know how she's going to afford to live in Texas. She doesn't have access to money. She doesn't have any money of her own. Where is she going to go? And what is she going to do? And who's going to pay for her? Is Jim Bob going to kick her out and then still pay for her to live in Texas? Or is he done with her? I'd like to know that part. Do you believe that Anna's been kicked out? Or are you like, it's just a rumor? Tell me what your thoughts are in the comments below. Bye, guys.